This is the Sports Hit List. By the fans, for the fans.
Back here on the Sports Hit List, Carl Coulange, by the fans and for the fans. I am joined by my baseball panel. We have Mike Cannella returning. Mike, how you doing, sir?
You're good, Carl. Thanks for having me.
Joe Leo, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me back. I appreciate, the invite back. It's been a while.
Always. And we have a very special guest for the first time in Hit List history. We have Mike DeMurgis. So for some background story, Mike is our professor for Joe and I who graduated from Iona, a wonderful program at Iona University for sports media. And I give Mike a lot of credit for getting me to be more involved in sports media. Mike, thanks for joining us here today.
You're making me sound old. I don't know if I like this. Old
young at heart,
Exactly.
No, young at heart, Mike.
Well, it's a pleasure to join you today.
So today last episode, Mike and Joe and I kind of had our predictions about the MLB season. And looking at the standings, clearly we have the Mets and the Yankees who are at top of their divisions. The Tigers are there too, and the NL West is kind of jumping back and forth. But I wanted to ask, are the records indicative of what the play has been? So Mike DeMurgis, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts here as the MLB season inches to the All-Star break?
I think the Yankees are in trouble. I think they need a second baseman. They need a third baseman. They're going to need a first baseman. I think Goldschmidt's starting to fade a little bit. Maybe put Bellinger at first. And they need an outfielder. I don't think the Martians really grown and developed as we thought. And the Yankees are running into the issues that they had last year. Defensive errors, lapses on the base pass. We're seeing the old tricks from last year that probably cost them a World Series. I think the Yankees are what they are, but I think the National League is so much stronger than the American League. There's probably 4 or 5 teams better than the Yankees in the National League. And this is not a World Series team by far. The pitching staff has kept them alive. 29 innings without a run. Are you kidding me? They should have won all these games. The pitching staff's been so good. The Mets, man, they just get Juan Soto going a little bit, and I think they are who they are, and they could be better than who they are. Alonso's got the contract off his head from last year. He's kind of getting, having a decent year. I was concerned about this with Juan Soto. Citi Field is a much bigger park, especially down the line in right field. And I thought Soto's numbers would drop. I didn't know his batting average dropped so significantly. And the Mets, throughout their history, have signed big hitters, and they've become flops kind of over the years, going back to George Foster back in 1982, Jason Bay. We've seen it, Kevin McReynolds through the years. I think the Mets can get better, and I think the Yankees cannot win a World Series with the team they have now.
Mike Cannella, do you agree with what the other Mike just said as far as the Mets and their play so far?
No, absolutely. We're kind of right where they expected to be. Imagine if Juan Soto did turn it up. He hasn't yet. His average, he's probably hovering around 250 right now. But listen, the guy gets on base. And that's every game he might not get a hit, but he's getting 2-3 walks a game. He had that little sluggish start coming out, especially running out of the box as slow as he does, but that's kind of all stuff you guys went through for a year, watching him be a little lazy out of the box. And obviously, like Mike was saying too, it's a different ballpark than Yankee Stadium. I guess we didn't realize it was going to have that much of an issue on him. But hey, listen, there were 20 games over 500, just about, right? We have that bad losing streak going on right now with you. At least we scored a couple runs. But they were down 4 in a row. I think you guys are about the same right now. And we'll see. At least we started off hot. We got in a good spot. I mean, this time last year, we were about 11 games under 500 and looking like the whole ship was about to sink. So we're in a happy place right now. At least us Met fans are.
So Mike Cannella, let me give you a quick follow-up. Are you guys giving Soto and the team some grace? Just trying to figure it out as we for his first season here.
I know for him, he's definitely getting some grace, but I mean, everything else is clicking now that we didn't even think so. I mean, our pitching staff is outstanding. We have one of the top teams in wins. ERA is second, third best in the league right now. Our other pieces are coming together, and it's just having this extra bat in the lineup, and it's the Juan Soto effect. I mean, look what's going on with Pete Alonso this year. Anything's going to happen. You put anybody behind Soto, I mean, they're obviously going to advance their stats and whatnot. But I'm happy. We're giving him a break. The team's 20 games over 500. We're in first place by 2 games. I mean, this is a rough week coming up. We have the Braves and the Phillies. So it's a good challenge for us. And it's a long season, man. 162 games, and I don't even think we're at the halfway point yet.
Joe Leo, this is your chance to go in on the Yanks. I know you may have a lot more to say than Mike DeMurgis, and I know you get frustrated easily. So are you frustrated with this Yankees team, even though they're at top of the division?
A little bit. Right now, definitely dropping 4 in a row, being shut out in 3 games straight. That's not where you want to be. I agree with Mike to an extent. Some of the old tricks from last year are popping up. The Dominguez getting thrown out at second base over the weekend is just absolutely unacceptable, and perhaps the most confusing and aggravating play of the season so far, because that's a play where he's the tying run on second base. You have to what are you doing? You have to know the situation there. And I don't agree that the Yankees need 2 infield positions. I think Jazz.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Jazz is not a third baseman.
He's not. I agree with you
any
on
stretch
that.
of the imagination. DJ LeMahieu's been an abyss around our necks for the last 4 years.
I get it, but they don't need 2. Jazz can play second base. We've seen it at the beginning of the year. The problem is the Yankees have 2 second basemen, and they're having one try to learn third base while playing it, which I don't think is sustainable. So they do need a third baseman. The outfield situation with Stanton coming back, I think will figure itself out. Dominguez is a young player, even though, again, he had the most just aggravating play of the season. And first base, it's a long season. You can plug Bellinger and Mike, like you said, but Goldschmidt is a former MVP. His batting average is still over 300. The problem right now,
he's fading fast like the
he's
stock
older.
market. The Trump,
I get it. I get it.
Tariffs on China, he's dropping.
He's an older player, but his season so far and the way that he ended last year, I think, is enough of a track record, at least recently, to say you give him a couple of days off. You put Ben Rice in there, who's kind of come back to earth a little bit, but again, another young player. Let him figure it out. The number one need right now for me, outside of a third baseman, which I think you can call up Arizona and go get Eugenio Suarez to fill that need, is bullpen. This bullpen is tired. You could see it Fernando Cruz's right arm is going to fall off by the trade deadline if we don't get somebody in here who can at least relieve some of those innings. Well, Luke Weaver's already down with a hamstring injury. He won't be back till about the beginning of July. So this bullpen is crying out for help. The pitching staff with the rotation is good enough. They're just not going longer into games, which they need to be able to relieve this bullpen.
Well, let me ask the panel this: with the trade deadline being the 31st, is there a primary target going into the trade deadline to say, okay, this is the player that could kind of change the dynamic of the team? Anyone jump in here?
Well, I think it's Suarez for the Yankees, and I would actually look at an outfielder for the Mets. I would love a situation where, like, an Andrew McCutchen comes in, you slide Brendan Nimmo into center field, his old position. You get another right-handed bat, a veteran leader who's been in those big spots before. So those would be my 2 candidates for the Yankees and the Mets.
Mike DeMurgis, do you have any? Do you co-sign that?
Cashman is very good at getting bullpen help. I'll give him credit for that. But I'm tired of him trying to fit a round peg in a square hole or something like that, or a square peg in a round hole.
Mm-hmm.
He did that with Jobber Chamberlain, trying to make him a reliever, then make him a starter. He did that with Torres a couple of years ago, trying to make him a shortstop. And it goes with players too long. How long did they go with Hicks? How long did they go with Gary Sanchez? Are they going to do that with the Martian here? So these are continuing issues I have with Brian Cashman. He is very good, though, I'll say, at getting the relief, finding relievers from nowhere and under a rock or something like that. Listen, in years past, the Yankees would go out and get the big bat, the big player at the mid-mark. You remember back years ago, the Braves brought in Fred McGriff and turned the whole season around. They came back huge against the San Francisco Giants. 96, when they won the World Series finally after 18 years, they brought in Cecil Fielder mid-season. Those big season moves, because so many teams are in competition, don't happen as much. And the Yankees aren't the only player in town. The Mets are there, the Dodgers are there, the Padres are there. Everybody's making moves the way the Yankees used to move back 20 years ago.
Mike Canella, which player, I guess, is there a target player that you would need to adjust your team at the trade deadline that you could possibly make a move for?
Well, I don't want anybody Joe's touching. I don't want this 38-year-old outfielder that he thinks is going to make a difference for our team.
What's
That's what
wrong
happened with
with
the last.
McCutchen? What's wrong with McCutchen?
We don't need an outfielder, man. That's not our issue right now. We
Who's
have
playing
plenty
center
of
field?
depth.
Hold on. Who's playing center field?
We have plenty of options. Well, we had some injuries, right?
Ooh.
So we had we had Jose Siri who got hurt, right? Tyrone Taylor's out there. He has a great
He's
glove.
a backup outfielder.
So right.
You want that in a big playoff spot?
Listen, they move him around. We got Winker who's actually out hurt. Listen, right now I'm not worried about my depth. You want to listen, McCutchen? I see him as a nice pinstripe guy. You overpay for somebody, you get him to play, 60 out of 160 games a year. That's McCutchen for you guys. We made the mistakes going after 38, 40-year-olds. We're not happening again. We have a young squad. We got a really young team going. There's no reason for us to go and sign McCutchen, somebody like that. Now, I think they need to call up some of their outfield depth. We have some amazing prospects going on right now. Our AAA and our AA affiliates right now, they're killing it. We have players in the work in their 20s that can come up and make an impact right away. And hopefully we see that's what's going to happen. But I don't see us making any big splash for any 35-plus-year-old player. I think they went down that road before, made that mistake. Still paying for it. We're going to rock with what we have. And I think that's what Steve Cohen and the team's going to do.
Now, Mike DeMurgis, you said there are no real teams in the AL that kind of stand out to you. You got the Tigers leading their division, Houston leading their division. So outside of that, you really don't see the AL as strong.
I just think the National League is so much stronger. If you look at the standings, you look at the teams, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Phillies, the Mets. The Cubs are surprised this year. The American League, just go back to the playoffs last year, the way the American League looked and how easily the Yankees got in. It's the American League had the advantage for many years, and I think this year it's a National League with the advantage here. The Mets are strong. They're going to make moves. The Phillies are strong. They're going to make moves. The Braves never count them out of it. I know they're struggling now. They got a ton of injuries, but the season is long. And the Dodgers and the Padres and the Giants picked up Devers. I mean, Garrett Cole has to be thrilled.
Everybody
Rafael Devers is not with the Red Sox, and this guy, he'd be perfect fit for the Yankees, but that deal was never going to happen. That's like the U.S. and Iran trying to make a trade. That was just not going to happen.
Mike Canella, does that make you, I guess, nervous knowing that I know you did say it, that there's a lot of competition, but it seems to be a little bit more for you guys to even get out of the NL.
No, I think even what we went back and talked about on our last call, which when we first did this before the season, right? Go back to what Mike was also saying. The NL is stacked. The AL, the Yankees were going to have an easy path in. There's not as many competitive teams on the AL this year as there is on the NL. And listen, the Red Sox just really tossed. I feel like they did a disaster of a thing, but I guess they had to. He wasn't willing to be a team player, that guy Devers. But imagine a guy you draft. He was an international guy probably when he was like 16, been in the organization probably for 8 to 10 years. And now they just ship him away for a couple bazookas and a couple of prospects down the road. It's wild. And you guys, it's a blessing for you because, that's who me and Joe were talking about was probably going to be your, top competition going into this year was going to be Boston. We know they finished pretty even last year. They had those good pieces. Devers was going to now supposedly turn into the superstar that they were expecting him to be. And now they ship away their best player. Man, it's a long season, but some things you just look at and you're like, wow, man, I can't believe that they did that.
Thanks for watching the Sports Hit List. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. In fact, do it now.